I always want to take a nap this time of day. Wherever you're at, bring your awareness to the sit bones. Just focusing on dropping your weight down. Observing where you're holding yourself rigid. So checking in with your shoulders. With your hips, observing where your breath is. Is it in the upper lobes of the lungs? You want to slow the breath down, expand the breath. No. No. Come on, go lay down. Go lay down. The dog show every time I start this class. Focus on the lower ribs expanding on the inhale. So if this is where we place our focus and we're breathing in slowly, we're going to work through maybe some tension we're holding in the solar plexus region. And it's this tension that reinforces us to keep our breath shallow. So when we're stressed, holding all this tension, hunching our shoulders, we're just creating an environment in our body where it is hard to take a deep breath. If you're sitting like this, you're not going to be able to get air in very deep. So we want to change our habits throughout our day. And that, to me, is why we're practicing right now. We change the way we create a relationship with our breath. We change so many different parts of our experience with life. So take a breath in, counting 5, exhale 8, slow the exhale down. And this is a little trick. We're manipulating our nervous system. If your exhale is longer than your inhale, your body is like, okay, our environment's safe. So, in the most basic sense, but take a breath in and then exhale and really force the air out slowly, but you're using force. You're pulling your belly in towards the spine. And if we don't pause and we inhale, it's almost like a rubber band effect. It starts to feel like you get the air deeper into the lungs automatically. Exhale 8. You start to dissolve some of the tension that's being held in the solar plexus area. Maybe it's more in your shoulders. It could even be in the low spine. But when we start to lengthen the inhale, lengthen the exhale, we start to move muscles that don't move when we're sitting and shallow breathing. Next, exhale. Gently hold the breath out just for a few moments. It might feel almost like panicky, or like you can't do it. That's okay. We're going to inhale 5. Hold the breath in here, just gentle, no throat lock. Exhale 8. Inhale 5. Hold the breath in, no throat lock, just hold. Feel the pressure in the chest, and you want to notice sensation in the lower ribs here. They should feel expanded. Exhale. Inhale 5. Hold the breath. Again, expansion. You want to feel those lower ribs expanding. We're not locking the throat. We're just feeling a sensation of fullness in the lungs. Just focus on that feeling. Exhale. Inhale 5. Hold breath. This time, lock your throat. And when you lock your throat, notice the sensations how that changes maybe in the solar plexus region, in the upper chest region. You want to keep the shoulders down away from the ears, but you're going to notice an interaction when that throat locks with some of these other muscle groups. Now exhale. Hold the breath out, force the breath out. Pull up through the pelvic floor, which is the bottom layer of your abdominal muscles, and pull the belly button towards the spine. Like you're trying to completely engage your abdominal girdle from the bottom and the whole front region. Create a lot of tension. Inhale. Hold the breath in and lock your throat. Again, when you lock the throat, notice if you feel any sensations in your body as you're doing this. Creating awareness about what is actually happening in your body is how we get better at doing things with our body. Exhale. Hold the breath out. A lot of tension here. Pull the pelvic floor up. Belly compresses in. Create a lot of compression sensations in the abdomen. We want to feel like we're engaging every abdominal muscle we can. You can even feel like you're pulling in through the obliques towards the center line. Inhale. Exhale, 8. Soft belly here. Inhale, 5. Exhale, 8. Really push the belly out. It's like let it all hang out. That good feeling. Inhale, 5. Exhale, 8. And just observe here the changes that you're feeling in your body. It should hopefully feel like you're coming down. It might not be all the way down. I'm going to come into a cross-legged position now. If you're already there, great. If you were laying down, sit up. Let's do a little spinal warm-up. Sit up tall. Again, connecting your awareness to your sit bones. Stay present to your breath. You can match the breath 5 and 5. You can keep the exhale longer than the inhale, whatever feels best for your practice. But focusing on the sit bones. From those 2 focal points, feel your bone structure. Feel the hips, feel your spine stacking, feel the shoulders lifting, pressing back over the hips, feel the neck supporting your head. If your head is too far forward, your neck is not supporting it. You will feel tension here and here. So when our head's back and our chin is slightly tucked, the neck is supporting the weight of the skull. Which for like the average person is what, 10 pounds, I think. That's a lot of weight on these little vertebrae. So lift the head, drop the shoulders, and just feel how the body supports itself. And this can be uncomfortable. We don't often sit in a supportive position. So if you're uncomfortable, get your hips up off the floor. It's going to make it easier to sit like this. Use a block or a pillow. Tuck the chin towards the chest without moving the shoulders. Feel the stretch in the back of the neck. Take another breath. Inhale, head up and back, mouth open. Want to feel the stretch in the front of the throat here. Push the chin towards the ceiling, close your mouth. And head up, parallel. Come back to the awareness of your posture. Pushing the belly out at the inhale, feel your lower ribs expand. Exhale, gently pulling the belly back towards the spine. Right ear, right shoulder, shake your head. Come up over, shake the head. Interlacing your hands behind the back of the skull, so avoiding the neck. Push forward, elbows can come in towards center. Use your hands to push your elbows as far forward as you can. Create a lot of tension here, just enough though to not hurt the neck. You want to really feel the stretch right in the occipital region. So that's where the skull is connecting to the base or the top of your neck. Pushing forward, feel your arms, drop your shoulders, get this nice stretch here. Press your head back into your arms, spread your elbows wide, and feel your head create the stretch in the arms. Sit up tall. Imagine you're trying to press your elbows back to the back edge of your mat. Hands come forward, still interlace, palms forward, under the chin, press back, take a breath in. Exhale forward. Use the strength of your hands to gently push the chin up and back. And exhale forward. 2 more. Exhale forward. Exhale forward, press straight out through the palm. Drop the shoulders, flex through your middle finger. You want to be reaching the fingers up towards the ceiling as much as possible. Drop the shoulders again. Belly is soft here. Let's feel this up, the spine supporting itself, and then we're pressing. Feel the stretch come up the inner wrist, up the forearm, through the armpit. You feel some tingling in there. That's good. Drop the shoulders. Take another breath. You start to hopefully feel a sensation of warmth in the chest, and that is what we're looking for. Take another breath. Right hand down, left arm straight up, overreach through the fingers. We're trying to pull up out of the hips, but simultaneously pressing through the left sit bone. Come up and over, pressing down through the sit bone, lift out of the hips, spread through the ribs. Take another breath. Right hand, left knee, twist to the left, look over the shoulder. Take a deep breath here. Sit up tall. Pull the belly in towards the spine on the completion of your breath. Left arm across, let's see curve. One more breath, pull the shoulders away from center. Twisting to the right, look over the shoulder. Take some deep breaths here. Belly's pulling into the spine at the end of the exhale. Right arm across, C curve. Drop the weight in your head, pull the shoulders apart, take another breath. And then uncross, hands press into the knees, circle around the hips. So we're moving our chest around the hip. Think about it like that. Instead of moving from the hips, we're pulling our heart around our base. Reverse. It's good for loosening up all of those low back muscles. Opening the hips, coming center. Sit up tall. Arms out to the side. Palms face down. Drop your shoulders. Rotate the thumb. Really reach through the thumb and index finger here, and we're going to start to press back. Keep rotating. And then start to lower the arms 45 degrees. Keep pressing back. When you find that really sweet spot of a stretch, just hold there. Just looking for that stretch, pressing back. Take a deep breath. Chin towards the chest. Turn the chin 45 degrees towards the right armpit. Really press through the left index finger and thumb. Take another breath. Should feel the stretch move up the arm through the neck. Head back to center. Turn the chin 45 degrees towards the armpit. Flexing through the right index finger and thumb. Take a really deep breath here. And reaching forward, so you curve the spine. Reach through the fingers, pressing back, looking for maximum stretch in the low spine. Pulling the shoulders away from center. Grabbing your elbows above your head. Drop the shoulders down. Just a gentle tip towards the right, maybe look up towards the left side of your room. Come up and over. Hands behind the back, grabbing what's available. So reverse prayer is ultimate goal. If that is not available, grab your elbows or your wrists. Think about flexing the pinky fingers. We're focusing on that side of the arms. Feel it come up the inner wrist. So when we create tension in the pinky finger, you'll feel the activation of the muscles that we're looking to stretch, and then we can relax those fingers and just feel the stretch. Feel your belly move freely on the inhale. Interlace behind the back, pull through the fists, lift the chest, maybe a forward fold here. It could just be subtle, it doesn't have to be full. You can bring your head to the floor or block, lift your hands up towards the ceiling, maybe twist slightly so that the chest is pressing towards the left, hands dip towards the right, and then switch directions. Pick it up, hands to the right, ear to the right, shake the head. Take a deep breath. Coming over left ear, left shoulder, take your breath. And then back to center for a few more breaths. Observe your body, feel the changes that have transpired, feel your posture muscles active, feel how much easier it is to sit up tall. It takes effort, especially in our culture, to sit up tall. We are constantly slumping over. We're all guilty of it, and that's okay. When we start to focus in on our posture, everything can start to change in the body, specifically the breath. And up until like 250, 300 years ago, yoga for thousands of years was only sitting and breathing with some subtle movements. It wasn't the rigorous vinyasa flow that we're doing now. That came somewhere in the last like 250, 300 years. So yoga initially was this. It was exercise to meditate. And so through meditation, it's breath awareness, body awareness, connecting the two together. Yoga is interpreted as meaning to yoke. So you're yoking these two things together, implying how we often are experiencing our lives not present to our own body, to our own physical sensations, unless we're in pain. But even in that, we're oftentimes ignoring pain sensory, or we keep pushing it to the side. So just want to be aware of what's happening, aware of how we're holding tension. If we were to do just this every day for 10 minutes, a lot changes in the way that you deal with stress, interactions, stressful interactions specifically, the way that you are relating to yourself is helpful. So come into tabletop. Moving into cat-cow. Just moving with your breath. You can go slow or fast here. Thinking about heart pulling forward as you drop the belly. Imagining you're pulling the shoulders back towards your hips. And then as you push the floor away, belly towards the spine, pull the shoulders as far wide as possible. So not a passive movement. We're really trying to get into this stretch. So we're moving in two directions. We're stretching lengthwise and we're stretching horizontally. Next, inhale, curl the toes under and find down dog. Keep the knees bent here. Pushing the floor away with your palms. Lengthen the spine. Thinking about maybe the sensation of your arm and spine in one line. So shoulders are away from the ears. And lift the sit bones higher. Start to reach back with the heels. Not a lot has to change. You can keep the knees bent and reach back. Keep the heels where they are and start to straighten the leg. The emphasis on the heel, though, creates the length in the back of the leg. So lift and press. Think about your toes. Keep them active. Maybe redistribute the weight in your foot. So notice where it's wanting to go and look at them. See what it's doing when you start to bring it more centered. Notice how it changes the stretch in the back of the leg, and you'll feel it differently in the knee, even in the quad, like the inner thigh. Take another breath. Give the head another shake. With bent knees, walk forward. We're going to hold our forward fold here. See if you can touch your chest to your thigh. Grab your elbows. Dangle your head. And stepping the feet wide. If you're feeling this in the low spine, step the feet wide. It's going to take it to the back of the leg, which is where we're looking for the stretch. It's going to create a release in the low back, so it feels a little more like spinal decompression. Lifting the sit bones here, press the heels into the floor, bringing the weight forward into the balls of the feet a little bit more. So connecting your awareness to the four corners of your feet. Lift your toes. Knees are unlocked. That's important. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Heel toe the feet back, hip distance. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Back bend here. Hands to prayer, finding mountain pose. Let's step the big toes together here. Thinking about the four corners of the feet. Lift your toes. Really pressing down through the balls and the heels. So you feel that inner foot on the center line of the foot, really active. Knees together, chair. Keep those big toes touching if possible. This might affect your balance here, so do what you need to, but if you can keep the center line zipped up, lift your chest, drop your shoulders. Hands can be very active here. And if you're pressing through your palms, squeeze the shoulder center. Sink a little deeper. You'll notice how keeping the legs together, it changes the sensation in the top of the quad. You might feel it more in the calf. You're going to start to feel it more in the back of the leg. Really squeeze the knees together here. Squeeze the glutes. Sweep down and up. Swan dive. Halfway lift. Heel toe the feet back to hip distance. Bend the knees. Grab your elbows. Sway side to side. Release the arms. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Back bend. Hands to prayer. Connect the four corners of your feet. Stay connected to those points as you sit into a chair hip distance apart. Feet are hip distance, and observe the change in the activity in your legs. Same posture, different focus. Should feel more active in the front of the quad. Sweep down and up. Swan dive. Halfway lift. Let's hold the halfway lift. Hands can come to the legs. They can stay to the floor. Bring the heart forward. Trying to straighten the back legs. We're not pressing back into the heels. Heart is forward, sort of off balancing, having your weight this far forward. Forward fold, step hop, walk back, plank. Hold your plank 2 breaths. Really active through the palms. Push the floor away. Take a deep breath. Pull the heart forward between the biceps, resting more on your toes. Elbows to the side for chaturanga. Find your up dog. Look over a shoulder, look over the other shoulder if that feels available. Come into down dog. Pedal your feet and shake the head. Give the head a shake. Another one. Knees can be bent here. Think about lifting sit bones, pressing through the heels, but toes are active. If we lift our toes or engage those toes, we create more passive lengthening in the back of the leg. Adjust the weight in your foot so it's more evenly distributed. You might notice one foot is different from the other. Good things to know about what's going on with your body. Right knee to the chest. Step it forward, runner's lunge. Whole runner's lunge. Heart pulls forward, press back through the back heel. You can tent your palms, so you're putting a little more pressure on the fingertips. Press back, humble warrior. Drop the weight in your head. Coming forward, runner's lunge. Left hand stays down, right arm up, square your shoulders, right arm over the ear to the floor. Press back, humble warrior. Come forward, back into down dog. Pedal the feet and shake the head. Knees can be bent here. Press through the heels, lift the sit bones, toes active. Give the head another shake. Left knee to the chest. Float forward, finding runner's lunge. Heart pulls forward, press back through the right heel. Move into humble warrior, so forward fold over the left leg. Back into runner's lunge. I'm tenting my palms, so I'm putting a little extra pressure on the fingertips. Build a little extra endurance in the wrists. Right hand down, left arm up, square your shoulders. Left arm over the ear. To the floor, one more. Humble warrior. Forward, back into down dog. Pedal the feet and shake the head. Shifting your gaze forward. If you're working on your hop, step hop, walk forward. Halfway lift. Forward fold, reverse swan dive. Hands to prayer. Move into mountain pose. Take a deep breath here. Connecting your awareness to your posture. You want to feel the shoulders pressing back. We're lifting from the vertebrae that's parallel to the bottom edge of the shoulder blade. Collarbones are wide and lifting, head lifting. Chin is in. We're not pushing our chin forward. Sit into a chair. And again, observing the difference here. This is the front leg activation. You could step big toes together, glue the knees, feel the back of the leg activate. Dropping the weight into your heels. Push the floor away. Squeeze your glutes. Pull the belly in. Sweep down, up. Swan dive. Halfway lift, step, hop, walk, back plank. Chaturanga. Look over each shoulder. Come into down dog. Right knee to the chest. Float forward plank. Try to set your knee out to the side of your mat. Left knee down. Crawl out through the right leg if you need to. You're going to come into like a frog here. So lower down. Belly can touch the floor. Hands are under the shoulders. Elbows can be to the ground. So if you pick up your elbows, maybe it's comfortable to find a full cobra. Flex the heel, pressing down through the right hip. Relax your shoulders. Deep breath. Chest down, bring your hands in front of your body so that you can rest your head on your hands and point the left toes towards the ceiling. Press down through the right hip. If you want, you can reach back to grab the left foot. And instead of pulling the foot closer to the glute, push the foot into the hand to activate the quad. And then relax. Foot down, coming up to your elbows. Bring the right leg straight back. Hands are under the shoulders for a cobra. Pick up your discretion, how open your back feels. Elbows can still be touching the floor. With the shoulders away from the ears, take a deep breath. Lowering down, hands wide. Float up. Let's do a flowing cobra, so lower it down. Inhale up. Lowering down. Hold at the top. Left shoulder center, lower down. Back to center, pick up. Right shoulder towards the center line. Coming center, pick up, hold at the top, drop your shoulders, take a deep breath. If it feels available, you can point toes towards the ceiling. Imagine you could touch your feet to your head. Lowering down, coming into tabletop, making fists. So the back of the fist, the top of the hand is pressing into the floor. Elbows are wide. C-curve your spine here. Push the floor away with the hands. Take a deep breath. Give the head a shake. Tabletop to down dog. Shaking the head, pedal the feet. Pressing back with the heels, lift your sit bones, shake the head. Bring your left knee towards your chest. Floating forward into a plank. Bring the left leg out to the side. Working on a cobra frog. I don't know what this pose is called. You can be on your chest. You can come up to your elbows. Go for full cobra. Biggest thing here is flexing through the left heel. Press down through that left hip. Take a deep breath. Point of our practice, hopefully, is just meeting ourselves at our edge. The edges, we put in the effort, but we're not overexerting it. We're not forcing a joint open. We just want to find that sweet spot where it's slightly uncomfortable for a moment, and then it starts to feel good because it's a release. Coming down, hands in front of your face. Lower your hands. So I have my hands stacked if you can't see. Head resting on the hands, point the right toes towards the ceiling. Keep pressing the left hip down. You could reach back to grab the right foot with the right hand. Push the foot into the hand. Activate that quad. Take a deep breath. And then release the hand. Right leg straight back. Hands under the shoulders. Adjust the left leg so it's straight back as well. Crawling the hands under the shoulders. Squeeze your glutes, float your hands, lift your feet. So your head can still be touching if it's easier on your neck. Maybe lift the chest a little higher, depending on your mobility. If you want, you can extend your arms forward. Lift higher through the legs. Take a deep breath. Pressing back, child's pose. Maybe tent the palms, crawl the fingertips forward, stretch your armpits. A lot of tension
on the underside of the scapula, which creates a lot of tension in those muscles coming under the pectoral side. Take another breath and then soften the arms. If your head is touching the floor, maybe rock it side to side, releasing some tension in your forehead. Next, exhale, drop all the weight in your shoulders. Just let them support themselves. So if you're on your elbows, however you are, just drop the weight. Don't need to use a lot of tension here. Dropping the weight in the low back and hip. Creating a sensation of relaxation in your body, starting at the top of your head at this next inhale. Letting the exhale pull the sensation of relaxation down the spine. No effort. So the effort of a yin posture is the mental awareness we need to have around our body. We need to keep checking in. We have such deep layers of tension that we hold. We think that we have solved the tension. And then on our next exhale, we realize there's still another layer to our clenching. And that's okay. We just want to keep working through it. Each exhale, dropping the resistance. There's just a lot of resistance we hold in our body. Reach behind to grab the heels. Crown of the head to the floor. Lift your hips, finding rabbit. Really give those heels a pull. Stretching the traps, stretch between the shoulder blades, stretch your low spine. Feel the pressure point on the top of your head. Maybe press your big toes towards the floor. Take another breath. Sitting back, hands stay next to your feet. Drop the weight in your shoulders. Interlace your hands behind your back. Maybe you just rest them on the sacrum. Maybe you can start to lift them towards the ceiling. Maybe pick up the hips. Let the hands fall forward. Take a deep breath here. Sitting back, release the hands forward. Crawl the hands to the right, press through the left sit bone. Crawl the hands left, press through the right sit bone. Sitting up, hands right next to your knees. Lift your knees, stretch the front of your ankles. The knees down, curl your toes under, lift the knees just as high as you need to feel the stretch in the Achilles tendon. So press back through the heels. You should feel this also in the toes. Deep breath. Knees down. Rock pose. Sit up tall here. If you need a block, use one. If it's possible to bring both hands next to your feet and just lift your hips, squeeze your glutes, working towards camel. You could do one hand at a time. If you want to work on full camel, you're lifting the hips, bring your hands to your heels, start to push the hips forward, drop your head back. At any point, feel free to move into child's pose. If you're in camel, I'm going to hold it for 6 more breaths. So keep squeezing your glutes, push the hips forward. Coming up and out, come into cross-legged. Actually bring the soles of your feet together. Let's sit into butterfly. Sit up tall, butterfly your knees. Awareness to the length of your spine. connecting your awareness to your sit bones, up through the hips, up to the crown of the head. Take a deep breath. Exhale, heart pulls forward, spine straight. Find your edge on the inner thigh. When you find it, just drop your upper body weight. Doesn't matter where it is. Hopefully you're feeling a nice stretch. Maybe some in the low back, but mostly in the inner thigh. Sitting up, let's hold this for just a few more breaths. There's a pressure point in the center of your foot. So right along the edge of the arch, press in. Right in the middle, there's a bone. If you go in about the width of one thumb knuckle, there's a really nice pressure point that can soften that muscle group in the foot. We hold a lot of tension here. The tall, softened hips. Press in. And the other one is right here in between the big toe and the next toe over. There's that triangular spot between the bones. Press into that fleshy area near the point where you feel the bones come back together. Right, and there is a really good pressure point. It relieves a lot of tension in the upper foot. These muscles connect up the shin. Press in, soften your shoulders. Should feel kind of tender. Pull the feet forward, 6 inches to a foot, hands under the legs. Pull your heart forward, straight spine as much as possible. And then drop your body weight. Imagine you could touch your head to your feet. Using the strength of our arms to pull forward through the heart. So we're very actively stretching the lower spine, the outer hip, kind of coming into the IT band down the thigh. You might even feel this in your inner thigh, which is fine. And sitting up, open the feet 45 degrees, wider if you want. Connect your sit bones. Sit up tall here. So again, you could be on the block if you need to. Maybe hands come to the inner thigh crease. Sit up tall, drop your shoulders, flex the feet. Maybe toes are pulling back at an angle. This activates the inner leg. Arms to a T. Let's twist, reach pinky towards pinky. So grab what's available. Press down through the left sit bone. Feel the stretch come up the low back. We're releasing the key-bone muscle here. Keep flexing the heels. Come up to center, switch sides. Reaching as far across the body as possible. Press through the right sit bone. We don't want that lifting up. Deep breath. Keep flexing the heels. Coming up center. Crawl the fingers forward. Flex the heels. Pull the heart as far forward as is comfortable. When you hit your edge, you can hug your upper body, drop the weight. You can drop down to the elbows if that's available, wherever you're at. Take some deep breaths here. Move up. Let's bring the right knee over the left for half shoelace. Hands come up, forward fold. Flex the left heel to intensify the release.
Sitting up, ankle to the outer thigh. Sit up tall, left arm across the body. Use your arm as some leverage. Twist from the shoulders. You can extend the left arm here if you want. Deep breath. Coming center to half heroes. But before we find our edge, if this is not too uncomfortable for your knee, you're going to bring the arms forward. Right arm swings back. Try to twist your chest towards the right side. It could be very subtle movement here. Take a deep breath. Back to center. Hands behind the sit bones. Tuck your tailbone. This activates the quads. So we're bypassing our stretch reflex here. Find your edge. You don't want to hurt the knee. So the knee stays connected to the floor. That's where we know our edge is. Wherever you're at, just drop your weight. Keep the knee pressing towards the floor. Take a few breaths. On this next exhale, relax your shoulders. On the next exhale, relax through the low spine, down through the hips. Feel your belly soften. Coming out of this pose. Right leg is forward. Flex both heels. Hands come up. Heart pulls forward towards the knee. Maybe scoot back through the sit bones. When you find your edge, grab your legs. Pull the heart towards your knees. Release the back of the leg. Take a few breaths here. Sitting up, left knee over right, half shoelace. Flex the right heel, forward fold. Sitting up, bring the ankle to the outer right thigh, right arm up and across. We're going to lift the chest, twist towards the left. Deep breath, keep lifting, finding the length of your spine here. Coming center, half shoelace. Before we go into, or half shoelace, half hero, before we lay down, as long as this isn't uncomfortable on the knee, hands come forward. We're going to swing the left arm straight back, twisting towards the left edge of our mat, dropping the shoulders. We're twisting from the hips here. Take another deep breath. Forward, hands behind sit bones, tuck your tailbone, and then find your edge. Taking some deep breaths. Dropping the weight in your shoulders. Dropping the weight in the low spine and hips.
Coming up and out of this pose. Feet flat to the ground. Drop the knees wide. Reach as far forward on the leg as you can. So maybe it's your shin, maybe it's your feet. Pull your heart forward and pull the knees in towards center, maybe pressing through the balls of the feet. Take a deep breath. Push through the heels as well. Feel a lot of tension in the outer leg. You should feel a nice release in your spine. Grab the shins, roll it down, bring the knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Drop the knees here, finding lying butterfly, hands next to the side. Knees come up, feet wide, tuck your tailbone, then drop the knees in towards center, press through the outer edges of the feet for a moment, and then soften. Pressing the outer edges of the feet activates the muscles we're trying to release. Heels of the feet back to center, knees up, tuck your tailbone, curl your right toes under, curl your left toes under. Walk the feet forward, coming into Shavasana, palms are up. Rock the head side to side. Relax your forehead by lifting your eyebrows. Soften the muscles around your eyes, around your ears. Open and close your jaw. Close your mouth. Lips are closed. Jaw is parted. Relax your tongue. Soften the throat. Spread the collarbones. Drop your weight in the shoulders, down the arms. Wiggle your fingers. Softening down the spine through the ribs. Relax the hips. Just let it go. Dropping your weight. Relax down the legs. Ankles fall out to the side. Wiggle your toes. Awareness to your breath, counting 5 in, 5 out. Allowing your body to let go. This next exhale, scan your body, observe any part of yourself you're holding off the floor. Just let it go. And again, next exhale, become aware of any part of yourself you're clenching, lifting off the floor. Total relaxation, posture of surrender. Bring your awareness to your breath. Stay in this posture. Just being present to yourself. I think that's a term that gets thrown around a lot these days. But what it means to me is just being aware of your body, being aware of your breath, being aware of your emotional state, being present to what is. I think the other added component would be to not shame yourself for wherever you're at. You have a really harsh inner critic. Just want to let it be, soften. Right palm presses up towards the ceiling. Left hand pulls the fingers towards your head. You want to get a nice stretch on the wrist through those fingers. So wherever you feel most stretched, the elbow can be bent. And let's switch hands. Push through the wrist, pull the fingers. And then just reach the fingers up towards the ceiling, pull the belly in towards the spine, flex through the heels, feel your low back arch, cactus arms, bringing the knees into your chest, a gentle rock side to side, drop the knees towards the right elbow, look over your left arm, press the left shoulder towards the floor. Coming up and over, left knee, left elbow, look over your right shoulder, press the shoulder towards the floor. Into center, knees in, hug the knees, rocking side to side. Coming forward to seated as you're ready. Sitting up tall, connecting your awareness to the sit bones. Feel your bone structure. Feel it support your body, lifting the head. Hands press into the knees, circle to each direction around the hips. In reverse. Hands come up to prayer, looking up. Hands to the heart, bow your head to your heart. Take a moment here for gratitude. Thank you for coming to class today. Namaste.